or have you had a situation where the project was in conflict with the what the customer wanted?
Mm. Um, it's been a busy couple of weeks.
Yeah, certainly have.
Um, yes, and I was thinking that one of the subjects that we've got on our list, and also which was commented upon by Mike Pete some weeks ago, was how do you make your customers trust you? How do you gain trust?
Yeah, and
And I
especially how do you measure trustworthiness?
well, I don't know, but I just know that what happens the past 2 weeks actually just hits precisely down into this
Ah, yeah, yeah.
discussion here
Hmm.
uh, in a very nice way, because one of your old customers that you've been working for years ago suddenly emerged, say, hey, I need something fast.
Exactly. Yeah,
Can you do it?
yeah.
Um, and as far as I know about it, he was very content about what we made, and he was happy with it, and he expected it to be
Yeah.
um, a good situation.
It was a very positive conversation, and he was happy to working with us again. So that it was a fun project, even though it was really stressful this week. It was a quick delivery.
It's been like this for every week this autumn. I've been thinking, oh, I really look forward to this week
Mhm.
being over, and then the next week it's just the same.
Yeah, then it's a new
But
project that needs to be done
yeah,
tomorrow.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well, anyway, you can't have been totally idiotic, uh, when you worked in with that guy for some years ago,
no.
since he returns. I actually picked up the phone when he called. He began to explain who he was. I said, you don't have to say that. I know perfectly well who you are.
Yeah,
And I don't know. I think that the best thing you can do actually is to do your best.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Think so.
And that's kind of what trust uh, is. You build trust by doing good work, by providing good content and getting a reputation for doing good work. That's when trust is built. You cannot kind of force someone to trust you, or cheating in someone into trust you by making some clever strategies. Of course, there are things you can do and ways you can present yourself that builds more trust. But yeah,
This also, I've been thinking also because the subject arises, with the question: how do you actually convince the customer that the price that you've come up with for a project is a fair price? How do you do that?
yeah,
Maybe it's not only trust. Maybe it's also that sometimes you're lucky, and the price or the volume of a project that you come up with actually just hits what the customer already expected. And when
yeah,
that happens, you're in luck.
yeah,
I remember one particular project, because it was rather large, and I was like, oh, it's going to be expensive. And in the end, I was just like, it was to be something roughly like 750,000 euro for the entire project, and I really felt bad telling the customer that that's what it's going to cost.
yeah.
So I told him, and he said, "That's what I said all along.
Yeah.
I knew it."
I
And I
knew
was
it.
like,
That was the price.
"Damn, why didn't I say 800,000?"
Yeah. Yes.
But that's of course that's not the same as a recurring customer. There is another thing, and I think that's one of our problems actually. Um, that of course transparency helps,
Yeah.
but I don't know if we always want to be transparent.
Mm, it depends. Of course, you always have to have your cards on your hand, but you have to also be open, because openness breeds trustworthiness. If you are open and showing what you got, and trying to explain everything in detail, you build trust. As you build trust, people will not ask that many questions, so you don't have to tell them that much about what you're doing, because they trust that you are doing what you should. But then if something goes wrong, that trust is vanished and they want to control again. So you used to have this saying where you say, trust is good, but control is better, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then again, I'm an old Stalinist.
Yeah.
No, no. I'm not saying by not being transparent. I'm not saying that that I think it's a good idea to try to bullshit people. But what I am saying is that one of the things that we tend to do is to bill by the hour.
Yeah.
And the question is how good that is for business.
Yeah.
But it is, of course, a good thing, because you tell the customer, okay, you got this project in there, you got this part of the project and that part and that part and that part, and you tell them this is difficult, this is easy, and so this is going to take that amount of hours, and this is going to take that amount of hours, and you can really argue very well for the price. The only problem is that you argue too well.
Yeah.
And you can't set it up from there. You know, you're bound on that price
you're
you give.
actually arguing on the cost of the project, not the value.
Precisely.
Yeah.
So that's, I think that's a lot of other companies in our business that it does the same, but we shouldn't do it.
Mm.
But then again, you're there, it's a new customer. How do you build up trust? How do you argue that this is going to be the price?
Yeah, but one thing that actually pricing more by value, in a sense, actually includes trust, is if you can go out and say, yeah, okay, if we bill by the hour, we expect this to be 50K or something. But it can be more, it can be less, but that's roughly what it is. And the customer knows that, yeah, okay, but then in the end, I will end up in 150 anyway, because it's going to drag along, and we're not going to finish this before December. On the other hand, if you say that, okay, we can bill 100K, and it doesn't matter if it goes over or if it's less, we're going to build 100K. That's our promise to you. That builds trust. And then it's up to us to finish it in 10 hours, in 15 hours, in 100 hours, in 200 hours. But if we say that this is what we want to deliver, the problem there is that you need to be really clear on what's included in the spec and what's not included in the spec.
Yeah, that's true. And often you aren't.
No.
That's also the fight starting also in this little project here, you know. It was like, okay, I think we've done enough now. But you don't know.
No,
you come up.
The thing is that when you get started, you get new ideas that you want to build on. So that's things that you can move on to phase 2, perhaps.
Of course, there's the problem that if you haven't agreed on what actually covers that price, or what that price covers, you know, and you have but then again, you know, sometimes you get unreasonable customers, and the only thing, the most important thing about unreasonable customers is to get rid of them again as soon as possible.
Yeah. So
I mean, and you
trust goes
soon
both
know,
ways in that sense.
but we're not unreasonable.
No, I don't
No,
think so.
no, but I mean, you quickly find out is there a basis for a long-term partnership here, or isn't there?
Yeah,
And I suppose that goes both ways also.
yeah, it does. There is some science to trustworthiness as well. I did some research before this video actually,
Ah,
and there are what I can find four main pointers in what builds trust. And the first thing is credibility. Does your reputation match up to what you're actually providing? So I can trust a person to do one thing, but perhaps I cannot trust the same person to do another thing. So trust depends on what type of things you deliver and how good you deliver them. So the second one is reliability. If you say something to me that you will deliver, will I also get the thing that you say? So will I be happy with the result? And then you have intimacy, and that is based on how much care I put into doing the job that I'm supposed to do. And then the last one is self-orientation, which revolves around how how much do I care about the job being done for you, respectively for me? Because if I care only for me, then I care for getting the money, perhaps, and then I don't care about the result, actually, what you get. But if I care about the result, the same goal that you have, that I want to make sure that your business is thriving, that's my primary goal, because I know that if your business is thriving, then you have me as a happy client or happy provider. And then our goals are aligned, and then we have like this the same self-orientation. We want this project to succeed or the business to succeed. So those four are the main kind of pillars of trust.
yes, but again, you see, I have this tendency that I do not think in terms of us or the customers. When we have a project, my focus or my allegiance is to the project,
Yeah,
not to our company, not to the customer, but to the project.
yeah, but
But
that's correct.
That's not necessarily a very good business approach, to say the least.
Yeah, but the client you have also have an interest in the project turning out in the best possible way. So if you have an allegiance to the project or the outcome of the project, and you have the same goal as your client, then all is good.
Well, at least
Or
it
have
might
you,
improve your chance of getting another project for that customer,
yeah, or have you
which
had
is
a situation where the project was in conflict with the what the customer wanted?
mm, um, no, no. You know, see, we have a uh, economic term which is called short-sighted profit maximization.
Yeah.
You are at a marketplace and you're selling rotten bananas,
Mm-hmm.
overpriced rotten bananas. You don't care because next week you're going to be at another place selling other rotten bananas. Or you might have tried to have your summer at supper at Campo del Fiore in Rome. You will find out the restaurants are overpriced and very bad,
Yeah.
but they don't really care because they don't expect you to come back anyway.
No. Mm.
But what we want is long-term relationships with our customers. And only in that respect, it makes sense, trustworthiness.
Yeah.
But that is where it makes sense.
So when you're in
So,
Rome, you want to go to the restaurants where the locals are going. You don't want to go to the
yes,
tourist restaurants.
yes. Yeah. But what is the IT equivalent to a local restaurant?
Ah. Yeah, that's a good question. I suppose that would be like IBM or SAP or something, because that's where all the businesses are moving. So the IBM effect, where as long as you pick IBM, you cannot get fired because you made the wrong decision. Isn't it something like that?
It's only the big companies.
Yeah.
In a business infrastructure like the Danish one, with all the small companies,
Yeah.
they don't let IBM anywhere near their
No.
premises, and
No,
it's
but
about 200,000 small, medium-sized companies. They don't want the IBM
no, and
or
IBM don't
Accenture.
want to bother with them either. So
Probably not.
no,
But that's
too
why
much
it
of a hassle.
leaves room for us. Yeah.
Yeah. So you need to find your market and go from there.
Yeah. But that's another discussion.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So what do you say? Are we done with this?
I think so.
For today, at least. See if we get any new questions from our trusted followers down in the comments below. Yeah. So let's make a discussion and see what we come up with. And see you next week.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.